Wham! Talk 1600. You're catching the drift. Conservative talk. Intelligent conversations on local, state, and national issues with Gary Wellings, chief editor of the Current newspaper and Current Online. Join in the conversation at 734-822-1600. And now, your host, Gary Wellings.
And good Saturday afternoon. Thanks for tuning in to catch our drift. Joining me in studio, Ipsy Ed.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Glad to see you made it in another day, right?
Yes, the warden let me out another day.
Yeah, well, we've got a lot to talk about today. We're going to certainly spend most of the hour, I think, talking Syria because I'm really conflicted. I texted you earlier today and disturbed on a number of issues, and the Twitterverse is also, a lot of people trying to guess what's going on with Trump and the change and what's up with Syria. But let's take care of a little business before we do that. Next Sunday is Easter, right? And Easter brunch at the Whitmore Lake Golf Links. Now, it's not only a great place to go golfing, it's one of the most prettiest courses you've ever been to, but they do a great brunch there. So next week they've got the omelet station and sausage, biscuits, bacon, waffles, fruit, you name it, roast beef, baked chicken. It's like the full-blown brunch, right? Yeah, you're salivating already. And you can reach them at 734-449-4653. That's the links of Whitmore Lake. It's a great golf course, but they have a great clubhouse, too. 734-449-4653, and they're on 6 Mile Road. So check it out. You probably want to make a reservation because this is a pretty popular place. You can contact Ashley, A-S-H-L-E-Y, at WhitmoreLakeGolfLinks.com, or just call them up, 449-4653. Tell them you heard it here. It's a great place to do a brunch next Sunday. Yes.
And that information is at the Daily Drift?
Oh, you can go to currentonline.com. It's in the latest. They advertised with us this month, so glad to have them aboard with us. But a great place to do brunch, so check it out. And it's a beautiful golf course. It really is. Okay, so before we get into the flaming Syria here, I did want to talk about Neil Gorsuch, right? And the Senate did the nuclear. I heard someone say we shouldn't be using the nuclear option thing because it's really not
the Reid
true.
Rule. Let's make it straight. It's the Reid Rule. Harry
it's the Reid
invented
rule.
it.
And so Mitch McConnell went ahead and did what he was supposed to do. They put Gorsuch in. And let me assure you, all those Democratic senators who said no to him, I think almost all of them to a T, voted for Gorsuch for a lower court. And all of a sudden, because they don't like Trump, because they're being politically inclined to their own party's agenda, they're voting no, and they are the ones to blame for not having 60 votes.
Yep, Diane, what's her face?
Yeah, and that includes Debbie Stabenow, right?
Yep.
Our own Debbie Stabenow, who was up for election in 2018. We want to run somebody against her
defeat
and get rid of her. She is a lousy person. And I just wanted to see Debbie Stabenow raises more money out of state than in state. Okay, $2.8 million raised in state, $3.2 million raised out of state. So that should tell you she's not raising money from the people of Michigan. She's going with these outside liberal interests who are trying to do things like stop a good guy like Neil Gorsuch from getting into office as an associate justice on the SCOTUS. So pretty pathetic, if you ask me, and just aggravating. So
I'd like to point out that I've been reading about the unprecedented and the historic selection of a Supreme Court nominee. And what's really historic, what's really unprecedented is that the Democrats or any party would filibuster a Supreme Court nominee. That's what's unprecedented. And so to retaliate by going nuclear is just a normal reaction to an abnormal situation that the Republicans found themselves in vis-a-vis the Democratic Party.
Yeah, I mean, the Republicans did not do that to Obama's guy.
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
When it came down to Neil Garland, right, Merrick, you know what? That was following the rules previously set by the Dems, too. He was in his last year in office, and the people of the United States voted Trump in partially based on the fact that we wanted him to fill the seat. We trusted him to fill that seat, not Hillary Clinton.
It's the Biden rule.
Yeah, and that was Debbie Stabenow, I think we played last week, saying, people did speak, Debbie. We elected Trump to fill the position. Screw you, Debbie. That's the way it comes down to. So anyways, we're done with that. There was also another terror attack And, of course, they're dancing around the fact that the guy's a Muslim. They don't want to come right out and tell his name. And he's an Uzbeki migrant in Sweden, and he got in a truck and he mowed a bunch of people down, including children. Now, they'll show pictures of the children who died in Syria from an alleged gas attack, but they're not showing the bodies of these poor children in Sweden who got killed. So, there's a little hypocrisy there as well. But once again, another Islamic radical terror attack. And come on, this is what happens when you bring in non-like-minded people to your country. You're going to get this kind of action. Well, let's take a quick call. He's going to jump the gun on us, aren't you, Ken? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, since you were going to talk about Syria, I wanted to bring up an aspect that our government and our media is not bringing up, and that is, now I happen to have the opportunity to speak to some pastors affiliated with the Antiochian Orthodox Church, which they're Syrian. They have ties to the Christians that are left in Syria, and the point that they've pointed out is that Assad has never been a threat to the Christian community. Assad has the support of the Orthodox Church, and the people that Assad he's fighting against, these people are the ones who have been killing the Christians, slaughtering the Christians, including little babies, the ones Assad's at war with. They're the ones who have been destroying the Christian churches. So who exactly really is the enemy? And I don't think, there again, Assad is not a saint. But I'll tell you from what I've been hearing, not just from them, but from others, we're fighting the wrong enemy here.
Yeah, well, you're not alone, Ken, because there's a lot of people and a lot of really supportive Trump supporters who have an issue with this. Yeah, and because it kind of goes against everything he's talked about. And I'm reserving my judgment at this point because, you know what? I'm waiting for more evidence to come in. I'm like you. Number one, let's just go there. From a common sense standpoint, and there's nothing saying that Bashar al-Assad is a common sense guy. When people say he's a madman, Ed, like you and I talked earlier, I don't know that he's a madman. He's obviously a very shrewd, smart, maybe an evil person. But a crazy madman doing things, and where is the upside to him to have used chemical weapons when he's actually winning the war right now? He's got the world, including the United States as of 72 hours ago, we're like, yeah, we're not going to go with regime change. And all of a sudden he decides to use a chemical weapon.
Such a small target like we were talking about.
On a small target, killing 80 people. I mean, you could have killed 80 people with a bomb.
Grenades.
You didn't need
hand
grenades. I'm not buying, and of course we don't have all the intel. I'm sure Trump and the General Mattis and the rest of them have that intel. But for me, from a strictly common sense standpoint, I don't understand the upside to Bashar al-Assad using that chemical weapon.
Well, here's another point that's being ignored. Now, when we were fighting World War II, and we were doing carpet bombing in Germany, we didn't limit our carpet bombing to military targets and factories.
Dresden.
We were bombing neighborhoods because what was happening was people living in these neighborhoods would go and fix the factories, start building more weapons. So we weren't limiting our attacks in Germany. Same thing with Japan. When we dropped a bomb in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, I don't think we were focusing on military targets. And so when we go to war, we go to war. And so what's this ridiculous idea that, well, we can't hit the women and children and the old men. We just have to hit military targets.
That is, Ken. You're dead right. It's the hypocrisy, and this is part of the problem why the United States has lost so many men in military actions in Afghanistan and
rules of engagement
and Iraq. Yeah, it's the rules of engagement. You know what? The idea for war is to get in, demoralize them so badly they quit. That the population that still exists rises up and says, "We're done. We're not supporting any more war either. We don't want to be firebombed into oblivion." You know, and I think all it does is drag it out. That makes these conflicts last longer if you're going to do that, you know?
You know, Ken, my beautiful wife, Sherry, and I were talking last night. We were talking about Assad, and she was asking me about what I knew about him. And I said, to my thinking, he reminds me of a Michael Corleone. He was a Western-educated guy, married an American beauty queen, got into the family business when his dad died, and he's basically been doing what he's got to do for the position he's in, and it's corrupting him as he's going along.
Yeah, could be right. Ken, what else you got?
Absolutely. Well, there again, when we look at the whole thing that's going on over there, now we're shedding tears in America for these poor, innocent people that were killed by Assad. But wait a minute, these same people that were killed have been killing babies, women, old men in Syria who were Christians. And yet there's no outcry against the Christians being killed by these same people that now we're crying over them.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason that some people are raising the old false flag issue. You know, is this real? What's going on? And frankly, some people are looking at the pictures of the rescuers going in. They're not prepared properly, and maybe they wouldn't be. But it makes you wonder if this were a concerted attempt to use chemical weapons. Wouldn't have there been hundreds and hundreds dead? It bothers me a little bit, and of course the Syrians are denying it, and the Russians are denying it, and I'm not saying one way or the other because I'm not making a judgment call yet because I'm not convinced either way, but it just bothers me from a common sense standpoint. What was the upside to Bashar al-Assad and or the Russians if they were involved to use chemical weapons when the world was kind of accepting the fact that we're just going to let Assad stay there. We'll figure out a way to end this another way.
Well, I still side with the Orthodox Church because of the fact that, you know, they have connections on the ground. They're still trying to save what's left of the Christian community in Syria. And there again, the point is that our government refuses to deal with. Assad is no threat to the Christians, and people who Assad is at war with are killing the Christians.
Ken, by your lights and your use of the word Orthodox, and the fact that the Russian culture is so tied to the Orthodox Church, do you see any connection there between, I don't know, what's going on with the Russians and their support of Assad?
Well, what I'm saying, first of all, the pastors that I talk to directly happen to be the Antiochian Orthodox Church.
Oh, I realize they're not Russian Orthodox,
and not the Russian Orthodox Church. So I'm not exactly sure as far as the Russian Orthodox Church, except for one thing. I did hear that the Russian Orthodox Church officially blessed what Putin is doing in Syria because the Russian Orthodox Church sees there again the point of Assad protecting the Christians against the Muslims who are slaughtering the Christians.
Yeah, great. Well, great points, Ken. I appreciate the call. Take care.
You take care.
All right. So, Derek, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna start with what Trump said before the attack, and then see what the UN's reaction was since the attack. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
Hi, I'm Don Haig, co-owner of the Firing Line Gun Range and Gun Shop, located at 33,000 Ford Road, Westland, Michigan. Are you one of our hard, dedicated first responders looking to buy a defensive handgun or tactical rifle? Firing Line has the only first responders discount program in all of southeastern Michigan. We have dedicated contracts with Glock, Smith & Wesson, Sig Sauer, and Remington that will save you money. How would you like to buy a full-size Glock Gen 4 9mm or 40 caliber with 3 magazines for $3.99? Who's eligible for these great one-of-a-kind discounts, you ask? First responders are active or retired law enforcement, active or retired firefighters, all active and retired military, active police reserves, EMS personnel, security guards that work for a bonded agency. Stop by the store at 33,000 Ford Road, Westland, or call us at 734-326-7320. That's 734-326-7320. Or visit firinglineguns.com and click on the law enforcement icon.
No shots, no drills, no pain. Got your attention? I'm talking about Dr. Michael Singleton, DDS in Saline. He's been my family's dentist for almost